mankind was always trying to connect himself with the heavens, and from the time early man was getting the concept of things having spirits, which is called animism, where mankind starts to put spiritual understanding to all things, plants and animals and all this, then man started to want to get in contact with this force that man started to figure out was called nature. So the man discovered that these plants, certain plants all over the world, particularly mushrooms, were able to connect man with what he thought was the heavens.
Yes.
It would also facilitate an out-of-body experience. So man would take the mushrooms and leave his body and go into the heavens. But the interesting point of where man goes is worthy of note here, because when man travels into the stars, there's what's called the world axis, or the chimney in the stars. And it actually goes right through Pegasus, and it goes from the ecliptic right up to the North Pole, and below the ecliptic right down to the South Pole. So we have associated with this chimney in the heavens, these stars make this channel. This is also the Jacob's ladder. This is the ladder to the stars and the ladder to the heavens, the stairway to heaven.
Interesting.
Now also at the top of the ladder, right up by the North Pole, now you can imagine this ladder of stars going through the sky from all the way from the South Pole through the ecliptic all the way up to the North Pole. It goes right through Pegasus, and atop the ladder is Cepheus and Cassiopeia. These are two circumpolar stars that are the male and female, the god and goddess of the heavens. Cepheus was one of the Argonauts. Of course, he was looking for the golden fleece, which you study the Apples of Apollo, which is a really nice book that's out. You'll find out that the fleece, the golden fleece, is again the mushroom. And apple means mushroom, and in fact, apple comes from Apollo, which actually meant mushroom. So that's why the book's called The Apples of Apollo. But sitting atop the chimney is Cepheus and Cassiopeia, which actually wind up being Hertha and Odin, or Wotan. And on down the line, they're Isis and Osiris, and right down the line, they're different male and female gods that sit atop the world axis, or the axis mundi, which is also the chimney. So the climbing of the shaman up to the North Pole is the exit way. And this is where all throughout the world, whether you're in Siberia, if you're in Siberia and you're a shaman and you take the mushrooms and you go out of body, the place you're going is the North Pole. Because as they saw the stars circling the North Pole, it's like we're in this big tube. We're like in this vortex, this swirling vortex of stars. The North Star is the exit point. It's like if you look at all these representations on TV of wormholes, going through a wormhole, you can imagine that that would be the direction you'd go, because the North Star stays where it is. Everything else circles around it. So the shamans in Siberia, they would take the mushrooms, and their journey would be to climb the world tree or go up the axis mundi, the ladder that we're talking about. The shaman is represented by Cepheus at the top of the ladder, heading towards and coming back from the North Star. So it's very interesting to see we have a correspondence between this ladder and the chimney, and Santa going up and down the chimney. So Santa actually is Cepheus atop the chimney.
Except he's bringing instead of in search of.
Right, well,
he's delivering.
He's bringing, and that's what they do. The shamans go up to bring back.
Ah.
They climb up the chimney to bring back the knowledge of the gods, and that's the universal theme that happens over and over. Also, if you're in Egypt and you're studying the Egyptian papyri, and you're studying what the Egyptians talk about, when the Egyptians would do their holy substance, they would leave their body. When they would go into the heavens, they would go to the North Star. If you're in the Americas, when the American shamans, many of them, leave their body, like the Ojibwe, to go to the heavens, they would go to the North Star. If you're in Maya and you're studying the Mayan glyphs that explain where the shaman goes when he leaves his body, they go to the North Star. If you're a Celt and you're studying old Celtic stuff, if you're studying Druids, the Druids would take the mushrooms which grow below the axis mundi, the holy tree, the Igritu tree, and they would leave their body and go to the North Star. So this is a universal theme, and this is why Santa Claus lives at the North Pole. And the chariot of Santa Claus, the chariot of Osiris, the chariot of Odin and Wodenaz and Wotan and Thor is the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper is always the chariot of these multiple gods from all over the world. And you can see why Santa Claus would ride his chariot around the North Star. And he could go all the way around in one night, see?
And would you say that the reaction to the North Star being central is that the North Star is on axis with our tilted axis? You'd like, if we're tilted and the North Star is, at that very same oblique angle, pointed out, then we do spiral and it does stay in its permanent place. So even the North Star is a part of our pagan past, or in the idea of us making sense of our environment, seeing that one star is fixed.
Right. See, actually, though, it's not totally fixed.
Okay.
It doesn't move as far as we can see, but it does rotate. If you take the North Star and you draw a small circle from it around the area, going through Cepheus and Draco and all these North Polar Axis stars, because the world tilts, we have what's called the precession of the equinoxes.
Right.
The tilt doesn't stay all the same. It takes 26,000 years for it to make one circle. So the North Star actually moves. It rotates. So even though the position of the North Star is not always exactly the same, it's always this same concept of the leaving the body to go to that area.
Okay, very good.
So, of course, there's different associations according to where the North Star is. Like if we're in Draco, then there would be a whole other different concept of where you go, because you're going into the big serpent. If you're going into Cepheus, you're going into the god of the heavens, the king of the heavens. One more association, while we're talking about some of the astrotheology stuff associated with Christmas,
yes,
is for a lot of times scholars have been debating, and this is a common theme for people to want to try to figure out what is the Star of Bethlehem, or what was the Star of Bethlehem.
Right.
Well, I'm going to tell you the answer to it right now, and it's really very simple. The Star of Bethlehem is Sirius, and it always has been Sirius, because all these same gods that I'm talking about all over the world all have associations with Sirius, because it's the brightest star in the sky. Now, Cepheus rises in the east. Cepheus also rises in the east on Christmas, exactly in the same spot where the sun comes up. So if you picture the sun rising, there's a spot that's in the stars during Christmas time. Now, remember, this moves. This spot rotates, and it doesn't always stay the same. But during Christmas time, the sun is rising in a spot in the stars that's called the stable, because of the different animals that are associated with that spot in the star, in the sky. Right above it, in the east, right above the sun directly, is Sirius. Now, directly above that is Orion. Now, as we move through the year, Orion turns like in a counterclockwise direction. You can watch it in the stars and in the sky. And if you actually go out while we're talking right now, somebody could go outside and look up in the sky at Orion, because Orion has turned counterclockwise to the point to where the belt of Orion is pointing straight down. It's not at an angle. It's pointing straight down to the horizon. Now, exactly where the belt points straight down to, that's where Sirius will rise. That exact same spot is where the sun will rise. Now, the three stars of the belt of Orion in Oriental astrology are called the Three Kings. Now, do you remember the song, the Christmas carol, We Three Kings of Orient, far, bearing gifts we've traveled afar?